Bit disappointed with the rifle, to be quite honest. I believe that the newer versions of these have fixed up some of the issues. .8 of an inch. Hey guys, and welcome to Ozzie Reviews. Today I'm checking out the Southern Cross Small Arms, or SCSA, Taipan Light pump action rifle. Now, this would have to be the most requested review I've had in recent times. I've lost count of the amount of messages and requests I've had for this rifle, so I thought I'll finally get it, and we're going to give you a very thorough, in-depth look at this rifle because I have had so many questions about it. And I want to answer everything in this review, so be patient and I'm sure it'll answer all your questions that you have about this Australian made rifle. So what does it come with? Obviously we've got a manual there. It comes with two 10 round P mags from Magpul, and there's a set of extra screws. Now this is for the spacers at the rear of the stock, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So we're all clear there. I'll give you a run by of it. Now this one is chambered in 223 Wylde. So in other words, you can run 223 Remington and 5.56 NATO ammo through it. No problem at all. I believe they are looking at other calibers such as 300 Blackout and possibly some heavier centerfire calibers like 308 down the track, but I don't have any confirmation on that. You know, that's just hearsay at this stage. So let's talk about the overall weight of this. It is 2.95 kilo or 6.5 pounds. So it is made for a lightweight rifle to be around in the bush and, you know, go out hunting and so forth. I would not class this rifle as a bench rifle by any means, especially with a pump action design, certainly not. The barrel, we'll talk about that to start with. We've got a Lothar Walther 16.5 inch barrel. It's threaded for 1/2 inch by 28 at the end there. So all the 223 muzzle brakes, flash hiders, etc. from the US will fit straight on there, no dramas at all. So it does have a 1 in 8 inch twist, so perfect for stabilizing that heavier ammunition. So the 64 grain ammunition, possibly even 75. We'll test that in this review as well. Stainless steel, look, it has advantages with regards to accuracy. Most stainless barrels are fairly accurate. In the manual, why I'm mentioning this is they do say that they come with either a chrome moly or a stainless barrel. Now, stainless barrels aren't as good in my view with sustaining high rates of fire as what a chrome moly barrel is. So for what the application is on this rifle, then yes, I would probably prefer to see a chrome moly barrel on it, but that's just my personal, I guess, preference. So coming back to the receiver here, a couple of things I want to talk about. We've got the standard, you know, AR-15 mag well there. Naturally, you can fit AR-15 mags because that's all this is the 10 round AR-15 P magazine. There are a lot of people who have been talking about negative things about this rifle. I'm on the fence. I don't know as yet because I put a preview up on, you know, my social medias about, you know, I just shot 10 rounds through it basically when I first got it, just to feel what the rifle was like. One of the complaints is when the bolt travels back, what stops it from moving forward when it's empty is the follower of the magazine, okay? And people are complaining that it wears that follower down. Well, to me that makes sense. Of course it would wear it down if you open it and then you're trying to push that bolt forward and then that follower's in the way. Naturally, obviously there's going to be some wear there. But we'll keep an eye on that in this review. The other thing is the Cerakote finish on this. Now, I'm not overly, you know, impressed with with the finish on it, okay? And why I say it is because you can see just here, let me see if I can bring that up a bit further to the camera, just where the bolt lock is there, okay? So, or the bolt catch, I should say. There is marking on the Cerakote. We've got another bit of marking just where the mag release is. It does seem to, I don't know, I guess it does seem to mark fairly easily, okay? So, look, it is what it is. I'm just showing you what I've found on this rifle to start with, straight off the bat. Now the pistol grip on it, standard AR-15 pistol grip. The safety selector, yes, standard AR-15. Now the trigger. Let me show you what I did basically in just a moment, but I got rid of the standard Taipan trigger. It was pretty bad at, you know, around about that 5.5 to 6 pounds. So I wanted something much lighter. And I'm happy to say I've got the brand new Victor Precision 2-stage trigger for the Taipan rifle here. This is a first that I'm aware that anyone has ever looked at this. So I was fortunate enough to be contacted by them, and yeah, I've got a hold of one of their triggers that is brand new at the time of doing this review. So it breaks clean at about 2.5 pounds overall, but let's just jump to a clip now and I'll show you the difference between the original Taipan trigger and the Victor Precision trigger. So this is the original Taipan trigger. So what we'll do is we've got it cocked. We'll just put my thumb in front there so it's not smashing into the receiver. And let's just see what the trigger pull comes in at. £5.5. £6. £6. So yeah, it's a fairly heavy trigger. Okay, so now the Victor Precision trigger. So 2-stage, so great for finer shots because obviously you've got that light take up that you can see there. But overall, if you want to use it like a single stage, you know, it's light enough. You come across a mob of pigs, look at that, just over 2 pounds. Let's try that again. Yep, just over 2 pounds, look at that. That is a really nice trigger. Now looking at the rear of the stock here, we've got length of pull adjustments with this spacer system they've got here. So it comes there with 5 spacers all up, and I've used a lot of them. As you can see here, because obviously I'm quite tall, so my length of pull is probably a lot greater than others. So yeah, I've maxed that out as much as I can to have a comfortable grip on the rifle. Also, the cheek piece here, I've increased that. Okay, just up nicely, so I've just got a nice sight picture with the scope that I've got on top, which at this stage is just the Leupold VX Freedom 3 to 9x40. We've got the Leupold AR mount there. I thought this would be quite, you know, applicable for this review. Another thing that I will address right now, guys, is this magazine release. Now, a lot of people, let me just turn this around and we can get a closer look at it. Okay, so a lot of people complain about this mag release, like if they hit it too hard, it will turn and then basically be like that. Now really, that's not a problem because it's an AR mag release, to be fair, and I'm going to be very fair to this rifle. So if you turn it anti-clockwise, it will loosen it, but if you turn it clockwise, it's just going to tighten it up, okay? And I can't really get it much more tighter than that. So yes, that's all I did, was just push hard in from the other side on the mag release, turn clockwise once or twice, and that fixed that problem. That was not an issue at all to me. So I'll show you how to disassemble it, because in the manual they're saying that you don't need to. However, for me personally, I like to be able to get that bolt out of the rifle to be able to clean it up, especially after a substantial amount of rounds. Now, in the manual they're clearly saying that they've torture tested this rifle to 8,000 rounds. You know, me personally, no, I don't want to be doing that to a rifle that I own. So I like to be able to disassemble a rifle to be able to clean it thoroughly. So basically you have 5 main screws at the bottom of the actual chassis. We'll just take these down. So starting at the front there, Now at the back here, see if we can get an angle there on the camera for you. So the takedown screw at the back there is pretty much under where the pistol grip is. So look, if you've got a tool to get in there basically at a right angle, you can get in there without removing the pistol grip, but I still am struggling with the tools that I've got, so I'm going to remove the pistol grip. A couple of things you've got to just be aware of here, okay? Now with this pistol grip, your safety selector just here has a spring and detent under it. So as that grip comes off, there is that spring and detent there. So just be aware of that when you're taking this off. So there's the spring, okay, just at the top of the pistol grip, just there. Okay, the bolt comes out the bottom there. And we've also got the detent, which is still in the chassis, but if you just give it a tap, it'll drop out like so, and so will the selector most likely. So we can just put them to the side there. So now we can remove the rear takedown screw. Once we do that, you can basically break the rifle in half. Then to remove the bolt, just put the action back so you've got the actual front of the bolt face clearly visible, and just pull it straight out. As you can see there, there's basically what the pump action works on, going back and forth. That's what cycles the bolt. The top part here, I don't see why you would want to take the barrel off, but perhaps you would down the track. There is a takedown screw there that retains the barrel, okay? When tightening that, I believe it's 25 inch-pounds is the pressure that you want to have on that. Okay, so to disassemble the bolt here for cleaning, we've got a retaining screw at the back here. Now you can take it all the way out if you want, or just loosen it off enough so you can pop the firing pin out. As you can see there, it looks like a standard AR-15 firing pin to me. From there, your cam pin will come out with a bit of a wiggle, I'd imagine. Yep, there we go. And then the bolt itself will come out from there. So let's move this up so we get a bit of a better view for the camera. So the bolt here, very, very similar to the standard AR-15 bolt. So we've got our ejector. So if you need to replace that and the spring in there, that should be fairly easy to do. We've also got our extractor here, okay, and to me that looks like standard AR-15 223 extractor. So I think it's good to have these parts that are standard AR parts, because obviously you can get a lot of the replacement parts very easily and maintain the rifle for future use. So putting it back together, just make sure that the extractor is on the right hand side of the bolt as you're looking forward, okay? Because obviously it needs to extract out to that right hand side on the rifle. So we get that in, you line up the hole for the cam pin, drop that in, then put our firing pin in, push all the way forward, and then just screw in the retaining screw at the back here, just till it's snug, and that's it. As long as it holds that firing pin in and you've got the extractor to the right hand side, you really can't go too far wrong. Okay, so just reminding you here that this is the cam pin on top of the bolt, okay? Now, as that's sliding back and forth, it goes in and out of battery. Now the bolt turns and obviously locks into the barrel. As you fire and you bring back, the cam pin is hitting the top of the receiver here to turn it, to unlock it and be able to cycle forward and back. Now, as you can see here, there is a very, very slight burr, okay, from the cam pin hitting the receiver. Now, I've only put 10 rounds through this, so this is a complaint that people have, but to be really thorough with this review, I just want to keep an eye on that. So after we've actually fired it and we've finished the review, we'll have a look at this a little bit closer. Now the bolt catch is just here. Okay, now there are complaints about these breaking as well. But what we'll do is once we've finished the review and we've done, the shooting, is we'll have a look at that and keep an eye on that as well. So to assemble, just slide the fore end in. With the bolt, we've basically got to marry up the cam pin there in the nodule. So put the bolt all the way forward in the bolt carrier. You should be able to wiggle that down till it locks. Then we can move it forward kind of into battery there, even though we don't have all the other screws and everything assembled at this point, but that will just temporarily hold it there. We get our lower receiver, put that on. Now doing up the takedown or main takedown screws, don't exceed 45 inch-pounds. So then slide the safety selector in, put the detent for the selector into the chassis, then get the selector detent spring, put it into the pistol grip, just slide that on. It helps if you do it while this is lying flat, but the purpose of the video, so I can show you here, we can line it up easily enough. Push that straight down. Then get your pistol grip screw and line that up and tighten it down. So now it's back together, let's do a function test. So pull down on the bolt release, pump the bolt back there, forward, put it into safe, yes, doesn't fire, into fire, yes. Action comes back. So price on this rifle, you're looking at about $2,000 at the time of doing this review. Okay, so there are a couple of different options I've seen these advertised with, from having a scope to a red dot, and obviously the price will be a little bit different depending on where you are. So anyhow, the biggest thing about it, guys, is made right here in Australia, and from what I can see so far, very smooth that pump action, but let's get it out on the farm now and really put it to the test. All right, guys, so I don't have any 75 grain ammunition, unfortunately. I thought I had some 75 grain Hornady TAP, but I've run out. I've used it in other reviews. So this is the ammunition we'll put through the Taipan today. The American Eagle, this is the MSR 50 grain varmint tip. Then we've got from OSA the 55 grain Sierra Game King. And then from Outback Ammo, we've got 55 grain Sierra Blitz King. Then the 55 grain Hornady VMAX, and then last of all, the heaviest hunting ammunition that I've got is the 62 grain trophy bonded tip from Federal Premium. Now I'm not going to run like 69 grain match through this, it just defeats the purpose, because this is not a firearm that I would be shooting in any type of accuracy match. It just isn't for that in my view. This is a rifle for getting out, chasing ferals, being able to have those quick follow-up shots. So yeah, it's not a match firearm in my view. So that's the range of ammunition we've got. I'll shoot 3-shot groups down there at 100 yards and just see which ammunition it takes a liking to. And then I've got my Aimpoint Comp M5, so I'll put that on top, and then we'll be able to zero it for that and have a bit of fun with the rifle. All right, so the first group, we got 1, 2, 3 with the American Eagle 50 grainer. So obviously that's going to be well over an inch there. We're going to be looking at about 1.7 inches. Then we come down to the 55 grain Game Kings from OSA. They've come in a little bit better, 1.1 inches. Then we go up to the Australian Outback with the 55 grain Blitz King. A little bit better there. We're just under the inch at 0.9 of an inch. Then we come up to the Hornady VMAX, and I was actually quite surprised at that because normally I do very well with it, but yeah, that certainly isn't impressive at all through this rifle. We got about 2.1 inches. Then we come down to the 62 grainers from Federal. I really believe that obviously it loves the heavier grain ammo, naturally being that 1 in 8 inch twist, and this is proof right here. So we're down to 0.8 of an inch, which is obviously a lot better than any of the other lighter ammunition that I've tested. So the Gen 3 10 round P mag that comes with the rifle is extremely easy to load because you can just push down straight through the top. Very interestingly though, I'll just show you this. There's 2 mags that I've got here of my own. Now these have got limiters in them to limit them to 10 rounds. This one here is the Generation 2, so there's not an over travel stop at the rear there. This is the Generation 3, you can see the over travel stop. Believe it or not, the Gen 2 won't seat home correctly in the rifle, it won't click in. The Gen 3 does. So just out of interest, make sure if you're going to get some spare magazines, go for the Gen 3 P mag. Okay guys, I'll wrap up my final thoughts on the Taipan Light. Now it's been a big day of shooting. I've put over 400 rounds through the rifle, so I'm confident that I can thoroughly answer a lot of the rumours and a lot of your questions about this rifle. So let's start off with the biggest problem that I've had with the rifle today. Now, first 40 odd rounds through the rifle, not an issue. Everything felt great, nice and smooth, the action, no issues whatsoever. Then when it started to heat up, that's when the issues started to emerge of the sticking of the action. So when it was forward, I'd fire, but trying to cycle that action backwards was near on impossible as it heated up. And this just continued on. So as you can see from this photo here, at about 300 rounds, I broke the rifle down, pulled the bolt out and disassembled everything, and all these metal shavings had come out. They were even blocking the firing pin hole on the bolt face at one stage. So I cleaned all that out, put a bit of that CLPX from NanoGuard on it, reassembled everything, and everything felt quite smooth. Put another 100 rounds through, but obviously couldn't get through a magazine there without it sticking. So it was a really big disappointment, that, guys. I'll show you too now the inside of the top of the receiver after all these rounds have been put through it. Now you can see perhaps a little bit more wear on that channel where the cam pin, you know, moves through, but nothing too substantial from what I can see. So other things that I think could be improved is here. Having M-lock would be fantastic rather than just this pattern here. It would still lighten the rifle and give people the compatibility, you know, that they're chasing. The stainless barrel also, I mean, stainless is great for accuracy, as I spoke about in the intro, but for sustained, you know, rapid fire, chrome moly would definitely be my choice, and especially on this platform of rifle, because, you know, as I've said, this is for me, for going out after pigs. You know, you're going to have those fast follow-up shots, the rifle's going to heat up. This is what it should be made for. It's not a bench gun whatsoever, so chrome moly would be the better option in my view. The magazine release, I had addressed that in the intro. People were saying the other side it was coming out and then sitting lopsided on the receiver. It's so easy to fix, just push in hard, and then on the other side you can turn the lever clockwise till it lines up with the channel, and it'll be just that little bit tighter, so you're not going to be able to push it all the way out where it's going to be lopsided. I've had no issues in this review, and it was just such an easy fix, so that's not an issue for me. The bolt catch, that isn't an issue for me. Mine still works. It's not broken or anything like that. The Cerakote, I'll bring that up to the camera. Yes, there is some wear there from the ejected shells, and there's more wear under the bolt catch there. So yeah, I mean, look, it does come off, but apart from that, I haven't really had it come off from anywhere else that I can see. So that's just me being honest with you from there. Now, the magazine, people talk about the follower being gouged by the bolt there. So as you can see, there's this mag that's had a couple 100 rounds through it, and I really haven't had an issue there whatsoever. I find the way around that is just don't ram it home, you know, into battery. Obviously then it's not going to gouge, or, you know, you're going to get some wear on it naturally, but you could either count your rounds, okay, if you feel you're getting close to firing that last round, top your magazine up or just check it, or if it really wears on you, buy another magazine. I mean, they're pretty cheap, and the followers are even cheaper, so that would be my way, you know, around that personally. The trigger on this, now look, I won't go too much into it. The Victor Precision trigger I've reviewed individually in the AR version. This is exactly the same in terms of, you know, 2-stage and the trigger pull weight, but it's adapted, you know, for the Taipan rifle. Makes a massive difference compared to that original, you know, 5.5 to 6 pound trigger. Very, very big difference. I like the pistol grip on it, you know, that was nice and comfortable there. You can add ones on, you know, that you like. There's not an issue with that. They make stock adapters now, so you can even put a buffer tube on the back and different AR stocks. There's even a folding stock adapter, I believe. The one thing that I don't see the point of at all is this bolt lock feature at the back of the receiver. I just see that as completely pointless. That's just my preference. I wouldn't have it there if it was up to me. So accuracy wise, let's talk about that. Look, the lighter ammunition, the rifle didn't seem to warm to. It's a 1 in 8 inch twist, so, you know, it's made for that heavier ammo. I just wish I still had some of my Hornady TAP. I honestly thought I had some of that, the 75 grain ammo, but obviously, you know, I didn't. But the 62 grain Federal, you know, shot fine, under an inch, and for what it is, a rifle to go out and do hunting with, chasing mobs of pigs and stuff like that. I mean, to me, that's ample. As long as I can shoot the group under an inch there at 100, I'm pretty happy with that type of hunting configuration that this rifle is. So yeah, guys, look, there's really not much more to talk about here. I am disappointed that I'm having problems with this action sticking. I really am, because to me, that's just not usable for my needs when I go out and I'm chasing mobs of pigs. I don't need an action that's going to stick. I don't see why it's doing that, because, you know, it cycles beautifully, like when you've, you know, got it cold, or, you know, just without a magazine in, like, I mean, you can cycle it with a couple of fingers. So yeah, overall guys, I'm a bit disappointed with the rifle, to be quite honest. I believe that the newer versions of these have fixed up some of the issues. Look, I don't know. All I can do is give you my honest viewpoint of how a rifle performs for me at the time. And look, I'm well known for it, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. This is exactly how the rifle has performed for me today. So we'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed watching the review. So till next time, we'll catch you then.